Welcome back to Parents Perspective with Mike and Amy. My name is Mike Thomas, and with me is the ever awesome and cool Amy Bishop. And this video series is sponsored by the St. Clair County Speak Youth Coalition, funded in part by Region 10, and in partnership with various businesses and nonprofit organizations in the Blue Water area. We talked last week about outdoor activities, fun things that you can do yourselves with your children, just a lot of great activities that can be done outside. But you know what? Weather sometimes doesn't always give us that option. And I know a few weeks ago when we had the torrential snowfall come in, that might have limited a lot of people based off of the things that they have. And so some days we just, especially on those rainy days or other times like that, we need some fun things to do inside. So we're going to talk today about some indoor activities that you can do with your children as well, to have fun, to connect, to get them off the video games and make sure that they're not getting too bored and getting into mischievous things, which could include drugs and alcohol. So Amy, you and I talked not too long ago about a couple fun things that you like to do inside, boys and girls, specifically things that we can do. So can you give me an idea of some of the fun stuff that you've been doing with your son and just in general indoors?
Oh, of course. In fact, Mike, this is more of my strength than the outdoors. So whatever your strength is, if you're not really thinking there's a lot to do outdoors, I learned there was. So listen to our previous video. But sure, indoor stuff I can come up with really easily, a lot of creative ideas. And so if you don't have that mindset, maybe some people can get some ideas here. And I think the bottom line is we just all need to open our minds and be creative about it. So of course, conversation starters, making sure that we have good communication with our kids and the teens and children in our lives, whether we're parents or aunts or uncles or caregivers, and grandparents. Family time is important. So lots of times that involves bringing people around your table. So board games around a table to me is a lot of fun. So you can just, and like you said, it gets kids off of the electronic thing, and therefore while you're playing these easy games, it sort of is time to talk and have fun. So I have actually brought a couple of unique games that, maybe others haven't discovered yet, but I and my family finds these very fun. Like you've got Uno, right? That's a classic game most people have played, but I want to challenge everybody today to take Uno and make up your own rules and then switch it up every once in a while. Have everybody come up with a new rule. It just keeps it interesting and more fun. Like, adding in, if you draw this type of wild, you have to do this. Or, two-player Uno is really fun. Like you can double or add the numbers. Say you got to play a 4. Well, you can take 2 2s and make it 4. Whatever those rules are, make those up with your family. It spices it up a little. But Uno, Rummy, those are classic games that most of us know, but how many have discovered, like I have, Trio? This is an awesome, fun game. It has a wood board and all of these different sized rings. It's based off of tic-tac-toe, but being you have the different circles, you're making tic-tac-toe linear or crossways, but you have to play with the different colored rings. And believe it or not, it's sometimes the obvious that you miss, and hardly ever does the cat win this game. We have had tons of fun over this simple game. You got to try it. I bought mine, I think at Meijer's, maybe Target, but that's like something a lot of people haven't heard of. Another favorite that we just got for our family is called Shut the Box. Now, this was another game that I had never heard of. And this also, and this game, I believe, was $15, so not real pricey. And it comes with, a green center. It's a dice game. And it has these different wood pegs that open up. So as you throw the dice, you then can shut the different, these would be open, shut the different wooden things that have numbers on them. So if you roll like a total, there's 2 dice, you roll a 10, let's say. You can choose to put down the 10, or you can choose to put down a 7 and 3, whatever equals 10. So it's a fun game. If you shut the box, you win the whole thing. And how many pegs are still up on yours if you don't completely shut it, which you don't very often, you then add up your scores and the person with the lowest score wins. Lots and lots of fun. And it also really challenges math. Younger kids can play it, learn their numbers, learn to add. So yeah, it's another great game. So so there's always that, right? I don't know. What do you do, Mike?
You know, when you're talking about dice games, there's a couple other ones I thought of as well too. It's funny, I've never heard of either one of those two. So give me a new game to look at, because my family does love board games. We do a lot of the classics like Clue, Monopoly, things like that. Sorry. I like some of the like apples to apples and games like that. As far as dice go, that's another thing I want to talk about as well too. One of my favorites is Yahtzee. So just we've played that quite a bit. Or I have like a little Simon game that we'll play, and so we'll do things. Another one as well too, and I think sometimes people see this one as a little bit more controversial, but I want to share this as well too. Role-playing games. So some of the RPGs. There are games out there, like most people probably familiar by now with Pathfinder and Dungeons and Dragons. And sometimes when we bring those games up, makes people nervous. I know, especially within a faith-based community, and we definitely don't want to offend with this. There's issues out there where people have taken some of these games way too far. I can tell you, having played with a group that's been together for over 26 years, seriously, at Fridays we get together and we do this. It's what you make them. You basically have dice, paper, pencil, and an imagination. You come up with any kind of storyline you want. For any of you that ever watched the movies Chronicles of Narnia or Lord of the Rings, it's a lot of times concepts like that you can use and just roll dice and you tell stories and you kind of see where you go. But what I like about them, especially for youth, is if you have the right person telling positive stories, it's groupthink. You guys come together, come up with concepts and problem solve things together. And so it's not competitive like a lot of sports and other things are, but it encourages people to like figure out, how do we want to do this as a team? So I like it from a team building concept. And there's a variety of them. There's also card games that some of the youth play, like Magic and that. I'm like you, like I love Uno. Do you ever play Dose, by the way, Amy?
No, I have not. I saw that. What does that mean? Like, is it like my rule? You can play two cards of the same number?
Kind of like that. It's basically Uno Part 2, where yeah, you get a few more cards. So it's another fun one as well too. I love those games. Those are a blast. And here's another one I love. You ever do Mad Libs?
Not me. No.
You can go online and actually find templates, or just use the old paper books where you get the sentences and you got to come up with nouns, adjectives, verbs. It's really funny when the kids are little, because a lot of times it's basic, off the wall sentences. Like, you know, the noun's supposed to be a baseball and you end up saying a chicken. And I have a blast. Like, we'll come up with all kinds of stories. Once upon a time, there was a chicken named Bert, and he wanted to fly into a hornet's nest or something like that. You don't know where it's going because it's all based on the words you use. Those are a blast. Or I'll do things like we'll do our own mini karaoke nights or music jams.
Oh, I love that idea. Music, absolutely. And I like what you're talking about with the silly sentences, because I think a lot of us, laughter is therapy right now. And people that are feeling shut in, or, you know, down because they're not being as social as they once were. I think any opportunity to laugh and just have some fun is so important. Absolutely.
Same thing
So,
with that, movie nights too. Like, why not just pop in a funny movie, have some popcorn and things like that, and just sit around and enjoy yourselves? Because it is, I mean, again, we're trying to get away from video games and TV and that, but how often is it that we just go to our own separate TV or our phone or our tablet or computer and just do our separate things instead of coming together and watching something as a family, or a series of things? And there's healthy comedy out there as well too. If you want, there's faith-based comedy programs. There's, you know, funny movies. There's a lot of different ways we can just sitting and laughing with each other, reminiscing about old times and stuff like that. I do too when we're inside.
Yes, I love the family movie night, you know, where you make everybody's favorite treat, whether that be popcorn or whatnot, and coming around one TV, not everybody separating into their bedrooms. And we call it, hey, let's sink the Titanic tonight, or Lord of the Rings series. You know, we've got all day Sunday, and, you know, the weather is nasty outside. And then making sure that you include movies that everybody likes. So, some other ideas I had, Mike, are things like maybe pursue a hobby or a talent that maybe you've always wanted to and haven't had a chance to. And this expands our kids' experiences from, you know, just a computer going to school via, you know, the virtual learning and such. So let's get some hands-on for our kids that need that interaction. Like, how many people or kids know how to bake bread? And with the internet and YouTube, you can certainly Google or look these things up and learn step by step, learning a new skill together. Baking bread is a great one because you get your hands in it and you get to knead, and it's a timely process, and the reward is so great, right? Afterwards, there's nothing like homemade bread, even the smell of the house, right, that it puts in the house. Making soap, making candles, or, you know, a favorite pastime of my sister and I, we love to make little bracelets. You can buy those the kits and the beads, and then maybe giving those to others for an inspiration, or, you know, coloring or painting, and delivering maybe cards or written poems to some of our senior housing units or nursing homes. These these residents are really truly shut in and really could use some inspiration. I think lots of times when we're struggling with our own moods and depression or isolation, feelings of loneliness or stress, lots of times if we expand, you know, our own sense of trouble to include looking at what others need, or thinking of less fortunate and helping someone else, we help ourselves. So there's tons to do. Some other ideas for inside is maybe start a book club. You know, everybody read the same book and then meet virtually to discuss it. That's a lot of fun, and it inspires reading. And I think that kids don't get behind on their reading because their friends, they know they've got to keep up with their friends because we're reading through chapter 3 today, you know. So it keeps kids on track. So any kind of crafts are fun, or, you know, make a spa day. I mean, truly, who doesn't need a little TLC, right? But expand that, not just to doing nails, but maybe going through the whole process, like creating kind of put some zen in your environment, creating that space by maybe if you have a diffuser, diffusing some orange, or peel some oranges for some of that relaxation, that aura, putting on some soft music, and truly, you know, just relaxing and enjoying and de-stressing, whether that includes a mask or painting nails or whatever that child needs or parent needs to feel special and feel a little bit de-stressed.
What's your favorite scent, by the way, Amy?
Oh, my favorite scent,
Yeah,
believe it or not, is
mine's thieves.
lime. Lime has proven to be a real something that you use for stress. And I've been told, I've seen different you know, conversed with different therapists, and just in conversation, friends that I know that are into more of creating a good environment for you that's mentally healthy. I've been told that my color scheme is sky blue. So that's where it comes in, where I need to see the sky and the lake more, even in the winter.
Mhm.
But for indoors, when you can't get that, you really need to replace some of those things that you do for enjoyment indoors. So I like lime. What about you, Mike?
I like thieves the best. I like this, like the like just the mixture of the all those different smells. Orange, you mentioned that as well too. I like citrus, and then I like lavender as well too. Those are
Nice.
probably the three I like the most, but definitely thieves is like the number one. That's my favorite one. Unless my wife has those apple pie candles in the fall. Like it smells like that when they're coming from candles. Like all anything fruity. So when you said
Absolutely.
baking the bread, that smell too, it's like, yep, now you're talking my language.
I love it. I love it. And the thing is, with some of those scents, if you can't eat an item, like maybe, yeah, you can't eat apple pie, or you can't eat bread. I actually have a gluten issue, so I can't have typical bread, but I enjoy the smell of it. So if you can't eat something, burning a candle with that scent or whatever, at least gives you some experience, through smell, maybe not through taste, but at least you get some of your favorite things. Another thing that I found that I did actually last year when I felt frustrated, I thought, what have I always wanted to do that I've never taken the time to learn? And so I picked up just something really simple. I looked at some YouTubes. I wanted to learn to braid hair. I had a lot of boys, and I've got more grandchildren now, and I've got a couple girls now. And so I really wanted to braid hair. So there's a lot of different braids that you can do. So that's something that you could learn. Or you could learn to cross stitch, or crochet, or knit, or do models, like model cars, or Legos are awesome. Any type of Legos. Um, we even did an ice cream bar one night, just for fun. We put all these toppings out just for like a summer type snack, even in the winter. Let me tell you, Sundays taste just as good. And I actually learned to make homemade caramel sauce. YouTube. And it was really good because the sauce was nice and warm. So we really enjoyed that. Or we've done like a different type of meal. Like we had a potato bar. You've got the melted cheese and the sour cream. Because I think as a culture, we do share a lot of time together over food. And so enjoying different even cultures of food. We have once in a while we do Chinese night where we make tea and have little teacups, and we put newspaper out for like our tablecloth and chopsticks, and it's nice to enjoy a different style and different culture like that, and even decorate, do some themes, wear some aprons as you prepare this food. Or a Mexican night, to decorate for that, or make a menu actually, to design that, write it up, describe the food and what's in the ingredients in the food. These are a lot of fun things that you can do as a team, as a family, to bring people together and enjoy each other, even though we're isolated and inside and we maybe don't get to enjoy some of the things that we used to love to do because of COVID and social distancing. There's ways, if we just get creative enough, to kind of explore different things, that use it as a time to do things that maybe you always wanted to do but never tried, learning an instrument, or just playing some music while you play cards. It just brings you together and gets you a bit of time to de-stress, talk to each other about your day, laugh together, and put things in perspective. And the other thing is I wanted to talk about, Mike, is the importance of creating your own space.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you have never had time to really decorate a room the way you wanted it. Maybe it's mini lights, or stringing photos up, or buying a new lamp that dims, or cleaning out a closet so that you can get organized, maybe some of your craft items.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Amy, because the as we're looking at that and we're talking with our youth as well too, part of the thing I notice is a lot of times is maybe there's cases where children feel a little stifled with what they can do, but at the same time, like when you're allowing them to do that, create their space, when you're letting them paint, do things like that as well too, gives them a sense of identity. Like my daughter, she really loves countries, and so she has little country flags. We bought her a banner of like all the countries of the world. So she's in the process. We're actually getting ready to move, but she's going to decorate her whole room with flags. My other daughter, I want to paint purple. I love purple. So we're going to let her paint her room. And so giving your children a chance to express themselves artistically is huge. Find all kinds of things. I personally like to paint. I have one daughter, she likes to draw. Another one, she doesn't, she's really not into art as well, but she likes the bracelets like you do, Amy. And then my son, so I don't know if you want to call it cartography, but he likes to draw maps of the world as well too. So we each have our own thing that we like to do artistically. And I just think it's great that you brought up all those different resources, because the truth is a lot of children have creative tendencies. And if we create a space for them to do that, really helps them individualize who they are, feel good about themselves, and get that energy. And so with the time we've got left, what I want to say is if you tune in next week, talking about spaces and that, we want to actually do a theme on creating safe space to be able to talk with your children about some controversial subjects, which include drugs and alcohol as well too. So we want to thank you for watching. Our time's up for today, but if you would keep in mind, if you go onto our Instagram page, we'll do little tips for outdoor and indoor activities on Facebook. We'd love to get your feedback as well too. What are fun things that you like to do indoors or outdoors? We haven't been getting a whole lot of comments, and so I'd love to hear, Amy as well, what are fun things that you enjoy doing with your family? But keep those comments coming. Keep following us on our Facebook posts. Have your children check out our Instagram page as well too. Thank you so much for joining, and we look forward to seeing you on our next adventure next week when we talk about safe spaces. Also, don't forget, we're still doing our trivia series. So this month we're going to be having another trivia night for your middle school and high school aged youth. Thanks again. Have a great day.